Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Jilanime here, aka Ali Alex, the Libertarian Muslim. And today I want to talk about communism versus fascism. Now, keep in mind, I do not support either of these systems. Both these systems are flawed, and both these systems have never worked in history. Okay, you may find examples of some of them working somewhere, some parts of it working, in theory it working, but most of it has never worked and we should never have it either. Main goal of this video is to compare the two and just make a discussion. Okay, I want a discussion going because ultimately I want to make another video talking about, in my opinion, the greatest government system and how most countries in the world should be run. But for now, I just want to get my research going and discuss with a few people before I make that, because I don't want to randomly just jump into that. So let's get this started. I'm going to first compare the philosophy between these two. Communism. The philosophy of communism is from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Free access to the articles of consumption is made possible by advances in technology that allow for superabundance. That's the philosophy of it. The philosophy of fascism says, the state must gain glory through constant conquest and war. The past was glorious, and that the state can be renewed. The individual has no value outside of his or her role in promoting the glory of the state. And then the philosophies varied by country. Now, the first point, I should write this down here. Okay, the first point in terms of philosophy, I'm going to say communism. But to keep in mind, this is all in theory. So I'm going to repeat again, I do not support either of these systems. Even though I support Trump, people think, oh, he's probably fascist. No, he's not. The whole different discussion, a different day. Anyway, first one I'm going to say, this I'm going to give to communism. See, what I'm trying to do right now is give a point to each and see if we were forced to live with one of these two, which one is better to live with. As for philosophy, I'm going to say communism because the idea, the theory of from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The first part, to me, makes perfect sense. I think from everybody we should get according to what they can get. Now, to each according to his needs, I'm kind of a person who says, yes, there should be a slight basic minimum that we should give to all, but if there ends up being inequality in terms of some people worked harder, then I think that's fair because they worked harder. In terms of this, neither of these two actually support what I just said, which is Uber's, but this one does, at least communism, say to each according to his needs. Fascism says the state must gain glory through conquest and war. I don't think that is a good idea anymore. I think in past that was necessary, but now I do not think it is. I don't think conquest and war are needed anymore. So for philosophy, I give it to communism. Next, and also one more thing is fascism. It says philosophy is varied by country. So fascism does not even have a direct philosophy. Next, I'm going to go to ideas. Idea of communism. All people are the same, and therefore classes make no sense. The government should own all means of production and land and also everything else. People should work for the government, and the collective output should be redistributed equally. Alright, now the ideas of fascism. Unions between business and the state, with the state telling the business what to do, with normally private ownership. Corporatism in Italy, National Socialism in Germany, central planning of national economy, distribution of wealth. That was a Nazi thing, actually. That's a central planning of national economy, distribution of wealth. In terms of ideas, I do agree with the communist idea that, people are the same and classes make no sense. But what kind of class are we talking about? I think in terms of religious classes, yeah, we shouldn't divide people by religion or by color. But when it comes to money, yeah, they do make sense, But then again, I don't really pick my friends on who's rich and who's poor and who's. I honestly try to. No, I really don't care. But fascism says union between business and the state tells us what to do. I actually slightly agree with this more. I think corporations do need a little bit of checking Although the funny thing is, that's kind of a socialist thing to say, if the corporation hurts the environment, we should keep them in check. But again, I'm picking between two extremes. Because of this, I'm gonna have to go with fascism. I think the idea of what's it called? The state telling business what to do is a great idea, and what's called it says with nominally private ownership, and corporatism in Italy, national socialism in Germany, and central planning of national economy distributed. I think central planning of national economy and redistribution of wealth is a good idea. I mean, I know that's what the Nazis did, but don't forget the Nazis were kind of successful when it came to economy. I don't support Nazis at all. I don't think of course what they did was horrifying, disgusting, absolutely atrocious. But when it comes to economy, the Nazis did quite well. So I'm going to go with, in terms of ideas, I'm giving it to the fascists. Next, key elements. For communists, the key elements are centralized government, planned economy, dictatorship of the proletariat, common ownership of the tools of production, no private property, equality between genders and all people, international focus, usually anti-democrat with a one-party system. Next, fascism. Actual idealism, centralized government, social Darwinism, planned economy, anti-democratic, meritocratic, extreme nationalism, militarism, racism, and this was specifically with Nazism, traditional and/or exaggerated gender roles, and one-party system. This one gets more difficult. Again, I'm picking between two extremes, so don't think when I pick one I do support any of these. Please, I really hope no one thinks, oh, he supports the Nazis, or he supports... Because again, picking between extremes. When it comes to centralized government, planned economy, see, both do have centralized government, and both have planned economy, so it's a kind of a common thing. And they're both anti-democratic. Communists are a one-party system. The problem is fascists is extreme nationalism, militarism, and racism. I actually do support nationalism, but when you say extreme nationalism, that sounds extreme. And I actually do agree with gender roles, but again, it says exaggerated gender roles. I mean, they're both one-party systems. Like I said, they're both horrible. I think so. They're both pretty much dictatorship. One-party system. That's what it is. Just one party. Because I think multiple parties would be a good idea. That way, all the ideas can be discussed and we can move forward as society better. But again, I can't keep reminding this is an extreme. I have to pick from extremes. Private property, equality between the genders. Equality between the sounds a good idea. But then again, dictatorship of the proletariat, common ownership of the tools of production, no private property. I disagree with no private property. I don't know. This one's anti-American. Okay, you know what? I was actually leaning toward fascism until I realized it says anti-meritocratic. Meritocracy is actually something very important. So, even though, I mean, communists doesn't say they're pro-meritocratic, I can't even say a word. Even though communists don't say they're pro-meritocracy, since fascism specifically says anti-meritocracy, I have to go give this point to communism. So key elements goes to communism. For key proponents, this is just the people. So for communists, they have Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, Peter Kropotkin, Rosa Luxemburg, Vladimir Lenin, and for, there's a bunch of small, and Che Guevara, obviously, Fidel Castro, and for fascism is Hitler, Mussolini. This, honestly, I'm not going to give because, no, it's, I can't give the points because they do have dictators on both sides, like Fidel Castro. But, no, you know what, I'm going to keep this fair. I think I still have to do proponents. I don't want to do one with skips. So in terms of history, I think most people can actually agree that fascists have been worse. I mean, Fidel Castro is horrible, but come on, Fidel Castro versus Hitler. Who's worse, certainly, And then, no, but Stalin, yeah, I kind of forgot Stalin. In my opinion, Stalin's worse than Hitler. Stalin actually caused more deaths than Hitler. Look it up. That's not even an opinion. That's kind of fact. But then you have Mussolini. See, I can't even read this one. They're all horrible people. You know, I can't. I'm really trying to specifically say which one's less evil. Um, you know what? I'm actually gonna go with thing. I'm gonna communism. I'm gonna give this communism, and I'll tell you why. Because communists, yes, they have horrible people, and yes, I think Joseph Stalin is worse than Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. However, Karl Marx is not a universally hated person. Hitler and Stalin both are. So communists do have kind of more good guys. So I'm gonna give it communism in this one. See, but it's like I'm supporting Stalin. It's great idea to do this. Okay, next definition this time. Definition of communism is international theory or system of social organization based on the holding of all property in common, with actual ownership ascribed to the community or the state, rejection of free markets, and extreme distrust of capitalism in any form. Next, we'll go with fascism. Definition is an extremely nationalistic, authoritarian state, usually led by one person or at the head of one party. No democratic election or representative, no free market, no individualism or individual glory. The state controls of the press and all other media. Oh, again, both horrible. Funny thing is, they both reject free market. Huh. So that's weird. And they're both dictatorships. Although communism doesn't even say, it just says uphold property. It says based on the holding of all property in common, with actual ownership ascribed to a community or state. It has the distrust of capitalism. I think capitalism with slight vetting and is good, and they completely distrust capitalism. So I can't. I don't like this. So but if I were to go with fascism, no democratic election. See, okay, this one says no democratic election, but communism doesn't have democratic election either. This is kind of weird. The state controls all of the press and the media. Oh, I'm one of the biggest proponents of free speech. Like, even if people who strongly disagree with me, I think no. But then, yeah. It says international system of socialization based on the holding of all property in common. I don't like that, but free speech is state controlling of the press and media. I believe it was Noam Chomsky who said the future weapons are not nuclear or guns; they're media control. So I think that's worse. I'm again going to give this to communism. All right, political system. So yeah, sorry. So definition goes to communism. Right. Next, political system. A communist society is stateless, classless, and is governed directly by the people. This, however, has never been practiced. Yeah, see, I'm so glad that actually the website put this. I'll put the website's link in the description. That's actually true. It is stateless, it is classless, and it's governed directly by the people. However, this has never been practiced. This has never happened. So in theory, this sounds perfect. It's actually the one thing I've noticed that I'm like, I mean, even though communism is extreme left and, fascism is extreme right, this is one of the extremes that I think, yeah, this is perfect. Class is good. And, okay, stateless, that's, I think countries should still have borders, but yeah, like, it doesn't work. Next. Fascism says one charismatic leader has absolute authority, often the symbol of the state. Advisors to government are generally picked by merit rather than election. Chronicism common. I'm sorry, chronicism. Okay. Okay, sorry, I just got to say chronicism is the appointment of friends and associates. Ooh. Okay, so he mostly elects his friends. But, and I hate to say this, but even though I completely disagree with one-party systems, especially this kind, it is faster. One thing you have to realize, it is faster to have. So when one person has the power, he can quickly make decisions. But discussion is useful. We need discussion. Again, both these. mean, yeah, I'm going to give it to communism. But then I don't see the problem with communism. It says it's stateless. We do need countries' borders. I think this sucks. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like, why am I picking between two extremes? This is advising government generally picked primarily. You know what? I'm gonna give it to. Actually, I'm gonna give it to fascism. I'm gonna give political system to fascism because think about it this way: if every country had a fascist leader, okay, if every country had it, as long as the fascist leader wasn't like Hitler that killed, Jews and gays and blacks. As long as the leader, see, it says charismatic leader, although charismatic doesn't always mean a good thing. Charismatic usually means persuasive. But think about it. As long as all the leaders are good people and don't actually kill the different, in theory, this is better. That's the way I see it. I mean, maybe some people are like, no, what about the poor? And yeah, but in terms of political, I'm gonna go with fascism. I'm sorry. Again, I don't support it because it wouldn't work. People, I think if you have one person in power, it eventually will corrupt them. And so again, but stateless will ruin. Yeah. See, again, I'm picking between two extremes. Both of them are bad. I'm gonna say right now, both of them are bad. Okay, next we'll go with private property. Oh, this one's going to be interesting because communism, it says abolished. The concept of property is negated and replaced with the concept of commons and ownership with usership. Fascism. Nominally, what? Oh, nominally permitted. Contingent upon service, abundance, or useful to the state. Usefulness to the state. So I don't understand what it means by nominally permitted. Sorry, if I had an editing system, I would probably edit these parts out. But I don't, and YouTube doesn't pay me to buy me. Okay, nominally is in name only, officially, though perhaps not in reality. Okay, that's what nominally means. So yeah, officially, but perhaps not in reality permitted. Okay, that's a red flag right there. I mean, it says officially prohibited to own land. Okay, both of them abolish it. I mean, communism said abolished, concept of property is bad. Well, fascism says nominally permitted. So officially permitted, but maybe not in reality. Well then, yeah, I'm actually going to go with fascism again because even though it could not be in reality, at least it's officially allowed. At least. But communism, no, it says no property. I can see why some people would like communism, though. I can actually understand their side now because, kumbaya. Next, economic coordination. Communism says economic planning coordinates all decisions regarding investment, production, and resource allocation. Planning is done in terms of physical units instead of money. Interesting. Fascism. Businesses are nominally privately owned. The state dictates output and investments. Planning is based on projected labor output rather than money. Huh, okay, so they're both rejecting money. Interesting. So again, I disagree with both. But, see, the reason I keep repeating myself about a reciprocal because sometimes when I think out loud, I say things that sound controversial and sound like I agree with them, but in reality, I don't actually agree with it. I'm just hypothetically, so I'm just letting that out there. That's why I keep repeating, I don't support this. Okay. So if economic planning coordinates all decision-making regarding investments. So when is all decision regarding investment, production, resource allocation, planning is done in terms of physical units that are money. Businesses are normally privately owned. The state directly outputs. I actually support more of a system. I support kind of small business people. I kind of support entrepreneurship. So again, that word is used, and so businesses are normally privately owned. So again, officially, but maybe not in reality, is allowed. So again, I'm gonna go with fascism. Because I would support that more. But again, I do support it a little bit. Huh. Wouldn't it be good if there was a system of government that was less extreme than this? Conservatism, that was a joke. I hope someone got that joke. If somewhere you're laughing at that joke, please just in the comment put LOL so it makes me feel good. Okay, next we're going with ownership structure. Communism says the means of production are commonly owned, meaning no entity or individual owns productive property. Importance is ascribed to usership over ownership. Interesting. Fascism says the means of production are nominally privately owned, but directed by the state. Private ownership of business is contingent upon submission to direction and interests of the state. Okay, so again, you don't have a choice because it's contingent upon the submission to direction and interests of the state. So yeah, you can do whatever you want, hashtag entrepreneurship, but it's the interest of the state. It's hard. See, again, I could say fascism, but because I like the idea of usership over ownership, I mean, I don't like either of them. I keep saying this, but now I'm going to go with communism. I believe communism, usership over ownership. I think it's good that we can use it for stuff that we need rather than ownership. I mean, I think people's lives matter more than the environment, but you know, in some cases we should be careful of the environment. So that's what it says. We don't want to own the environment, just abuse it. So usership, what we can use to help us. Sounds great, actually. Huh, no wonder left wings, those environmental hippies are considered left wing. I could see why. So I'm gonna say give this one to communism. Next we have social structure. All class distinctions are eliminated. A society in which everyone is both the owners of the means of production and their own employees. That sounds perfect, actually. Did I read that right? A society in which everyone is both the owners of the means of production and their own employees. Oh, wait a minute, so it's no boss, okay. It sounded pretty good, though. Fascism says strict class structures believed necessary to prevent chaos. For example, Italian fascism. All class distinctions are eliminated. Nazi Germany. Nazism believes in a superior race. Italian fascism was not racist in doctrine originally. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this website says Italian fascism is not. I think class distinctions is a good idea. I think we should not be judged based on our race, genders, sexual orientation, none of that, so yeah. So I'm leaning toward communism. However, Nazism believes in superior race. I don't believe in a superior race. But I'm going to say something controversial. I believe that people with serious inheritable diseases should not be allowed to reproduce. They could be allowed to adopt, but not reproduce. I think it helps humanity as a whole. Sorry for the squeak. It helps humanity as a whole if we, and it sounds like I'm sounding like a Nazi, but if we keep the race pure. But when I say pure, I don't mean of skin color or and I'm not one of those people who think being gay is a disease. No. So not those diseases. That's why it says serious inheritable disease. I think it's best for society. Even if I had a serious inheritable disease, which I don't, but even if I did, and maybe I do, I don't know, I gotta double check. I would, even though I really want to be a father, which that's actually true, I do want to be a father, I would say it's best not to. Because, again, it's facts over feelings, It would help society advance, as humanity, actually. Because, evolution is always happening. So we're still evolving. And I think it would help our evolution if we stop that. Again, it sounds kind of racist and it sounds kind of mean because, they didn't choose to have a disease. But, yeah, I think social structure, that is a good idea. So, I'm kind of in between. Pretty much, I was in between for all of them, actually. Because, I do believe, forget the race, color, gender, everything, sexual orientation, nothing's wrong. But because of the whole superior race thing, in terms of genetics, I'm going to say I'm going fascism. Okay, next, economic system. Communism says the means of production are held in common, negating the concept of ownership in capital goods. The means of production are held in common, negating the concept of ownership in capital goods. Production is organized to provide for human needs directly without any use for money. Communism is predicated upon a condition of material abundance. Interesting. Fascism. Autarky? Definition is national self-sufficiency. Keynesian, mostly. So national self-sufficiency, okay. Large public works, deficit spending, anti-trade union, and syndicalism. Strongly against international financial markets and usury. Whoa, okay. Strongly against international financial markets and usury. There are some parts where, yeah, international markets are not useful, because sometimes big companies end up having just power over corporations. Monopolies. And so, the small business, those people can't do much. It's so hard to compete with those guys. But then, this one says, communism says the means of production are held in common, negating the concept of ownership of capital goods. Production is organized to provide human needs directly without any use of money. I keep repeating myself, but I don't support neither, but I will go with communism because production is organized to provide human needs. I think, yeah. I mean, it goes with my personal idea of we should have a minimum, there should be at least a minimum distribution for everybody. Not in terms of communism where everything is distributed, but there should be a slight minimum that everyone should have. So I'm going to go with communism. Next, political movements. This one I might not have to vote because it's just Marxist communism, Leninism, Marxism, Marxist-Leninism, Stalinism, just a bunch of isms. And then for fascism, there's much less actually. For fascism, is National Socialism. Oh, that's Nazi. And then Phalangism, Nazism, Stressism, Neo-Nazism, Neo-Fascism, National. Council. I don't think I should vote for this. Well, I did say I'm going to vote for all of them. So I'm going to go with. They both have extremes, but at least some of them, especially the communist ones, in theory, sound like a better idea. Again, in theory, it has never worked. So I'll go with communism in terms of political movements, which are Marxist communism, Leninism, and Marxism, Leninism, Stalinism, Trotskyism, Maoism, Denginism, Parchanda Path, Hoxohoism, Titoism, Eurocommunism, Luxemburgism, Council Communism, Left Communism. Alright. Religion. This one's going to be interesting. Communism. It says religion is abolished. All religious and metaphysics is rejected. Engels and Lenin agreed that religion was a drug or spiritual booze that must be combated. To them, atheism put into practice meant a forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Ooh, fascinating. I actually gotta look more into this. Okay, next. Fascism is a civic religion. Citizens worship the state through nationalism. The state only supports religious organizations that are nationally historically tied to the state. E.g., the Iron Guard in Romania supported the Romanian Orthodox Church. I do believe in some. I'm not religious, but I am. I do believe in God, and I do believe some religion is actually very good for you, especially. I'm not one of those people who think morality, you need religion to be good, have good morals. Because, it was Bruce Lee who said, do not be surprised that there are nice people who don't believe in God. Be surprised that there are people who need God to be nice. Beautiful quote. So, because of that, I'm actually going to go with, both of them are bad. I don't think abolish religion, but extreme, but okay, we'll go with communism. Next, free choice. I think you should say no for both. Communism. Either the collective vote or the state's rulers makes economic and political decisions for everyone else. In practice, rallies, force, propaganda, etc. are used by the rulers to control the populace. Okay, and then fascism is the individual is considered meaningless. They must submit to decision of leadership. Traditional gender roles are upheld and or exaggerated. Again, I agree with gender roles. And communism says to collect the votes. Even the website says this is useless. But in practice, rallies, force, propaganda are used by the rulers to control the populace. So both of them are horrible, but at least communism makes it look like people are voting, even though they're using rallies, force, and propaganda. With communism again. Next, way of change. Communism says government in a communist state is the agent of change rather than any market or desire on the part of consumers. Change by government can be swift or slow, depending on change in ideology or even whim. Fascism says government in fascist state is the agent of change rather than any market or desire on the part of consumers. Change by government can be swift or slow, depending on change of labor, output or even at the whim of the dictator. It kind of sounded similar to me. It says government in a fascist state is the agent of change rather than... Sorry, agent of change. I was like, yeah. So fascist state is the agent of change, government communist is the agent of change, rather than any market or desire or part of the consumers. Okay, both of them agree on this. Change by government can be swift or slow, depending on change in ideology or even. So fascism, okay, so the only difference is fascism does says it depending on change in labor, output, or even the whim of dictator. For communism it says depending on change in ideology or even whim. So, okay, the whim is horrible, but at least change in labor output. At least fascism is kind of more realistic with this, because labor output makes more sense. I'm going to go with fascism. Examples. For communism, ideally there is no leader. The people govern directly. This has never been actually practiced, and has just been used a one-party system. Examples of communist states are erstwhile Soviet Union, Cuba, and North Korea. Okay, and then for fascist governments are generally headed by one person, a dictator. This is not an aberration of doctrine. In fact, it is an important component of it. So wait, this guy is actually saying to fascist has done this, but so the website is saying to communists this has never been actually practiced. Communism, it kind of sounds like anarchism actually, but it's never worked though, because I do believe people need a leader, but not with too much power. Again, both of them are extreme. If I had to pick lesser extreme, I'd go with fascism, because I know it's headed by one person. This is not an aberration of doctrine. In fact, it is an important part. At least we have a leader. So, okay, discrimination. Communism, in theory, all members of the state are generally equal to one another. Good. For fascism, belief in one superior race, Nazism. Belief in a superior nation, fascism and Nazism. Gender, female and mental or physical handicaps, mental illness, alcoholics, homosexuals, Roma, Jews, Nazis, ideological and political opposition, trade unions. So in terms of discrimination, communism is not discriminating against anyone. Fascism does believe in a superior race, which I strongly think is a horrible idea, so communism sounds better. And there's also against a superior gender, so again, communism better. But for mental or physical handicaps, I don't think we should discriminate against them, but, I don't mean to sound rude, but realistically, yeah, technically, there are some stuff that people who are physically healthy can do better than the handicap. It's kind of just logic. But then again, we shouldn't discriminate against them, because the handicap could still, like someone who's physically handicapped could still be a super genius. So we shouldn't randomly get rid of them. Alcoholics, yeah, they need to be helped. Homosexuals. I'm not going to get into this one. I support gay rights. But I do support gay rights, and I do think gays should be allowed to get married. However, I do also, most of my research suggests that being gay is somewhat a choice. Somewhat is environmental, and somewhat a choice. So that's why it's different. That's a long story. Ideological and political opposition, trade unions. Okay. I'm gonna go with I will go. So would you rather be in a state where we have some discrimination, or in a state with no discrimination? That's pretty much this thing. But the problem is, communists it sounds horrible to say, but it goes back to the whole people with serious inheritable diseases, should they be allowed to reproduce? And it goes back, no, I think humanity would be better. And it's going to sound heartless. But actually, no, you know what? Honestly, I don't support either, to be honest, because they both sound horrible. So, if I had to pick, if I had to pick between extremes, I'd go with fascism. I'm sorry. Wait, no, what am I saying? If all members are considered equal to one another, that means in theory, communism wouldn't even... Yeah, what the hell am I saying? No, I'm going with communism on this. No, honestly, even if, okay, so here's the thing. My theory is people with serious inheritable diseases, if they're allowed to reproduce, they would slightly delay us in our, just overall humanity being evolving. But who cares? Why? See, fascism has a much greater chance of getting out of hand because, why kill them? Why get rid of them? That's horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't even know why I said that. Yeah, I'm going with communism. It makes no sense. Why would we support it? No. I mean, again, but communism is not a good idea, so I'll go with communism. Actually, I'm scratching. Okay, earliest remnants. Theorized by Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels in the mid-1990s as the alternative to capitalism and feudalism, communism was not tired out until after the revolution in Russia. Tried out until the revolution in Russia in the early 1910s. So that's when communism really worked. Or not worked, but was tried. Fascism. It says the Roman Empire, which could be argued as a fascist entity, the earliest fascist theories were based on example left behind by the Roman Empire. I can't go with which is better because this is just early remnants. The Roman Empire was pretty successful. Yeah, the whole Soviet Union, well, no, both fell. Soviet Union, I don't know. Roman Empire was quite strong. I'm going to go with fascism on this, earlier. Means of control. Communism. Theoretically, there is no state control. Fascism. Fascism employs direct force, secret police, government intimidation, concentration camps, and murder. Propaganda enabled by state directed heavily. Okay. If it says murder, then no. Just remove murder, and I think it's a good idea, because I do think people need direction, some leadership, but also with murder, we're kind of silencing them. But then no state control, I think that ends up making people just, I don't know. See, again, I keep repeating myself, but both of them does not work, but if I had to choose, I'd go with communism. I'd go because at least I know there's no state control, theoretically. It's never... No, actually no, I'm going to go with fascism. Even though communism theoretically sounds better, here's the problem. It can't work. I just realized it can't work. Once you relinquish, once we become anarchists, we will automatically go back to having government. Anarchy is not going to work. Because people need, even people right now who believe in anarcho-capitalism, that capitalism is a slight power. The police, like that they hire, it's still slight power. We need power. So yeah, I'm gonna put variations. Oh, it's been quite a while. Okay, I got into it. Variations: left anarchism, council communism, European communism. This is just for fascism is Nazism, or Austro-fascism, British fascism. Okay, these are just the random variations of them. All of them sound horrible, so I'm not going to go on this one. View of war. Communism believe that war is good for the economy by securing construction, but should be avoided. Okay. Fascism. War is good for the morale of the nation, therefore good for the state. Through the conquest of war, the state can attain glory, the nation states policy. Through substitution of information, war has no negative effect on the economy. Damn. Okay. Now, so some people think some conservatives are fascists, but they're not. I'm going to go with communism on this because they do say at least. I mean, both say war is good, but at least it says it should be avoided. So I'll go with communism. Views of the world. Communism is an international movement. Communists in one country see themselves in solidarity with communists in other countries. Communists distrust nationalistic nations and leaders. Communists strongly distrust big business. Fascists are ultranationalists who identify strongly with other nationalist nations and leaders. Fascists distrust internationalism and rarely abide by international agreements. Fascists do not believe in the concept of international law. Whoa. Okay, based on that view of the world, the communism sounds better, because at least, they do see solidarity with communists in other countries, and they distrust nationalist nations, which kind of makes sense. I do think nationalism is good, though, but at least fascists are too... They don't even abide by international agreements. They don't believe in the concept of international law. What the fuck? No. I have to go with communism, even though they super anti-national. History. Major communist parties include the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from 1912 to 1991, the Communist Party of China 1921 till now, the Workers' Party of Korea from 1949 till now, and the Communist Party of Cuba from 1965 till now. Term coined by Mussolini, fascism is primarily coined by Mussolini in the 1920s when he gained control of Italy. Other major fascist regimes include the Nazi Party in Germany and National Union in Portugal and Francois. So you notice the communist parties, some of them are still in power, but fascist parties, none of them are still in power. So based on the history, I have to just go with communism just because of the fact it's still in power. Modern examples. Recent far-left dictators include USSR, which ended in 1991, and its sphere throughout Eastern Europe. Only 5 nations presently have communist government: China, North Korea, Cuba, Laos, and Russia. Fascists. Recent far-right dictators include the Republic of Chile under Augusto Pinochet, which ended in 1990, and the Republic of Argentina under Juan Perón ended in 1955 and 1974. There are also presently no openly fascist government in existence. Did you hear that? No openly fascist government in existence. So based on that, I have to, again, modern example, I'm going to go with communism because it's still alive. Alright, our last point, literature. Communism has the Communist Manifesto, Das Kapital, The State and Revolution, The Jungle, Reform Revolution, Capital, Analysis of Capitalist Production, Socialism, Utopian, Scientific Groups of Breath. Don't know any of those. Fascism is Doctrine of Fascism, Fascist Manifesto, La Conquista del Estado, Mein Kampf, my autobiography, The Myth of the 20th Century, and The Last War of the Russian Fascists. I actually, all those books sound super interesting, but due to the fact that I did not read any of them, I'm not going to be a judge of this, because I never judge or say my opinion on anything if I don't have proof. So I'm so glad this ended before 45 minutes, so let's just count our score. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 points for communism, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points for fascism. Alright, so in terms of extremes, I would go with, I guess I'm going with communism. Which is funny because I recently did a political test and I ended up being a libertarian slightly to the left. So I guess this makes sense. Now, please tell me in the comment section below how many did you get on either side. And tell me what you think of communism versus fascism. Personally, I think both don't work, but I know there are people right now, I know I have friends who actually say no, communism, I'm quoting him himself, he said, slow and steady wins the race. So he literally believes communism works. I don't know anyone ever who believes fascism works. So please tell me what you think. Do you think one works or the other? Mixture of both. Is that the perfect government? Or maybe mixture of one more than any? Please tell me in the comment section below. Let's get the discussion going. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, my name is Ali Alex, and I will be the doctor to cure the cancer known as feminism.